Morning gang, this is Mike G from Mr GTV on a Monday morning. The morning after the night before, talking to you, making a brew. I've got a series on Mr Mike Garner Facebook page and the Mr Mike Garner YouTube channel called Talking to You, Making a Brew. And I like to be accessible, so let me just say right from the very beginning, if I've said anything ever and you want to talk about it, I'm here to talk. If you want to chat, I'm here for that, I always say, and I'm as true to my word. I want to be available to you to help you overcome all the obstacles that stand in the way of your health, happiness and success in life and business. Now, Saturday and Sunday, part 1 and part 2 of Change Your Life Experience, Change Your Experience of the World, there's a lot of very dramatic statements that I talk about all the time, and people in my groups, particularly my Mind Body Spirit group, know me and they know that I'm quite intense, and I talk about things that are practical but they're metaphysical, so they seem a bit magical and out of reach. Trust me, I'm just a retired motor mechanic. Alongside my job as a motor mechanic for 32 years, I run martial arts and healing arts groups, and now I'm retired in Thailand running a retreat here. I'm very busy corporately, clinically, holistically, but I don't talk bullshit. I talk about things that you can do because I can do them, and there's nothing special about me. So let's just review some of the things that I mentioned while I'm making this cup of tea. And as I say, if you want to challenge me, do it positively, because I'm offering this with love for your consideration. So maybe if you just want to make a brew, pause this and come back and listen, just do that now, because this is life-changing stuff. And I really encourage you to watch the 1 hour presentation that I made on Saturday and the hour and 20 minutes presentation I made on Sunday. And if you're watching this sometime in the future, this is the second week in February 2022, so you can go on that timeline on YouTube or Mr GTV and search out those really life-changing tutorials, audios, conversations that I did live. One of the things that I said that's really important is that this world isn't what you think it is. That nothing that you're being told is true, that it's a perception deception. That the education system, the health system, the way that society is set up, it's not what you think it is. We're not living in a democracy. That whoever you vote for, and you're given a vote so that you think you're being given a choice, but basically, whether it's left wing or right wing, it's the same bird. That's a bit of a joke. It's a bit of a metaphor, but you've got left wing government, you've got right wing government, Labour and Conservative, and then you've got the Welsh Assembly, you've got the Scottish National Party, the Liberal Democrats, the Green Party. But basically, whoever you get in, they're all front people on the front bench, but in the back benches in the Houses of Commons and the House of Lords, that doesn't change. And then you've got the shadow government who are running that, and the think tanks that are funded by governments who are not democratic, like the World Economic Forum and the CDC and the Trilateral Commission. You might have heard of these, but Google them. And then you've got government think tanks who all operate, and it was something I was going to mention but I didn't. Most of the people are recruited through their jobs, they're groomed through the universities, through secret societies and through fraternities, and this happens globally. And then they go to things like the Bilderberg Group, and it's all done through industry, through commerce, through business, corporations, with an organisation called, well, one of them is called Common Purpose. Most police people have gone through the Common Purpose programming modules. Most civil servants have. Most movers and shakers, most influential people, most people in influential positions in society have gone through this training that's called Common Purpose. And the Common Purpose, hidden behind the idea that it's almost like personnel, what do you call it? There's a new word for personnel now. I can't think of it. But it's company training, investing in people, but it's called Common Purpose, and it's all to bring in Agenda 21. And Agenda 21 is clearly to reduce population and to move the acquisition of resources from the population into certain elite families, into the privileged few, maybe 5%. Human resources, that's the word, not personnel, it's human resources. And they put them through this common purpose training. You can Google that, not making it up, let me get the milk. So if you're in a job and you've been on any training, you'll find it'll be hidden behind diversity or equal opportunities or invested in people. But there's a move to shift society, sexuality, what people can say, what people can't say. There's a dumbing down of your freedoms, and people are getting deleted for saying things that they've said all their life, but it's now unacceptable. Authors are being witch hunted. They're pulling down statues. They're changing history. They're rewriting the books. And everything that you recognised old school is completely being radically changed. Society is being changed. Humanity is being changed. The population is being reduced. And it's all part of Agenda 21. Google it. There's a paper that was put out by the World Economic Forum where they call you and I useless eaters. The general population, there's too many of us, and they want to, and we consume too much of the resources. And you know, the elites, these certain families that are talked about, certain individuals, tech companies are controlling the narrative, paid for and funded by the same people who are funding and controlling the media. And there's probably 5 families at the top. Now I'm going to continue next weekend telling you what it's all about, because I believe there's a satanic agenda, which is a very strong thing to say. There's a Luciferian agenda, and you probably don't understand that, and I'll be explaining it with respect. And you don't understand it because it's not out there to be seen. It's hidden in plain sight as it happens, but it's not common knowledge. But this organisation, Common Purpose, directs people towards this way of thinking, and then anybody who's prolific and powerful with projecting this suggestion, this deception, gets employed. And anybody who doesn't go along to get along, I talked about it in section 2, if you're a high mover and shaker, if you're a politician, a politician, and you're expected to go on television, which is all an illusion, basically projecting the deception. It's a narrative that controls you because you're in a state of hypnosis watching television. Then anybody who doesn't say what the mainstream agenda is gets deleted. And quite often, if you're in a high position of power and you're exerting too much negative influence, as they say it's on the public, in other words, if you're not going along with it, you'll be killed. And people have been killed. I mentioned the Clinton Foundation. And if you look at the amount of people who have opposed the Clintons in their agenda, which is quite evil, Machiavellian, people have died. I mean, there's a trail of them, 20, 30 people, within a decade. I mean, Epstein was killed to shut him up. I mean, no great loss that a paedophile was killed, but they should have exposed the paedophile ring, and you'd have been shocked who was in that ring. And I think you know who I'm talking about. I don't want to be deplatformed telling you, but it's all out there. Now, you might say, I don't want to get involved in this, it's too dark, Mike. But unfortunately, up to about 2 years ago, you could mind your own business and live your life. And I taught people that. I taught people peace of mind, health and energy, goal setting, goal getting. And you could take control of your world. You could disconnect from all this, all the world and all this bullshit, and switch off the TV that programs you, because they're all television programs to program you. And my process, if you go to mrmikegarner.com, I'm a corporate hypnotist, a holistic facilitator, a therapist, and I taught people to program themselves, and I teach you how to do it, and you can. But now it's getting more difficult because The narrative's being controlled, so you can't say what you want. I can't say what I want. I'm having to use code words, and you've got to read between the lines. And the world is changing now. I was living in Thailand. I'm a Manchester lad, living in Thailand, running a retreat, and always had the intention of travelling backwards and forwards for Thailand, and then to come back to the UK, backwards and forwards from Thailand to the UK, and then to come back to the UK for family, for corporate commitments, for workshops, for all sorts of things. I've not been able to do that for 2 years. Why? Because the legislation has stopped me from doing that. Not the disease, but the legislation. And the legislation has caused so much loss and lack and deaths and destruction and bankruptcy and mental health problems and suicides. And now we've got a backlog of NHS on the waiting list, and there's a financial crash, and there's a world war impending. And there's all this stuff going on, disaster crisis, and we've only just got started. This is the 2020-2030 agenda, in Agenda 21, the reset. And we're only at, if you like, February 2022. There's 8 years left to go. And you just watch where this is going. And so many people have had the state injectable, and despite what you're being told, there's all sorts of after effects of that. People are losing the power. People's physical systems have been affected by that. Not everybody, but a lot of people. And I said in session 2 that if you have regretted that decision, or you're suffering because of that decision, then we do need a chat, because you can detox your body and apply your mind and get your health back. I explain that I am not talking from cloud cuckoo land. I've had my own personal situations. My 32 years in engineering came to an abrupt end with a spine injury, which I'm still living with. And I was told I would never walk again. I applied my mind and got through that. I still manage that daily. It's a challenge, but you'd hardly know. I know, but I don't project victim. I had a mini stroke 5 years ago. I was temporary blind. Got over that using the techniques that I share, preach and teach. Anything that you've done to yourself, anything that's in your past is history, and I talked about that. Your history is your story, his story. What stories do you talk about? Are you talking about the past? Have you got regrets about the past? Did you make some bad decisions, and do you carry those around like a badge of honour and talk about all the doom and gloom, what people call baggage? Have you got apprehensions and fears of the future, which is inhibiting you living magically in the now? Because in session 2 I explain how it's just a story, and it's like watching a motion picture, and you're the viewer, and you can change your perspective. Now, I'm not going to explain that now, but I'm just recapping on what I talked about in session 1 and 2, some powerful stuff, and we're going to continue in session 3 next weekend to continue the narrative and to give you more clues and insights. And I never say that I'm right, and I'm open to you for you to give me constructive criticism. But as I say, I offer this with love, talking to you, having a brew. And I just want to give you some insights, some new things to think about, because you won't be told anything by the world to empower you. Even religion, which is supposed to be freeing and enlightening, it isn't, it's dogma. And I explained that in session 2. Dogma, vicar wearing a dog collar, and you're tethered, dragged down the road with a dog collar and a lead. You're being led up the garden path. Jesus and all of the prophets in all scriptures, all religions, had truths to offer to free humanity from slavery, to free your mind, to liberate your spirit, to give you a better life, to live as it was designed to be in creation or evolution, a garden of Eden, heaven. But it feels like hell, because you're given bullshit scriptures that have been changed by the scribes, and you can Google the history of the Bible that you probably use these days, and it wasn't the Bible that was written. The Mesopotamian Bible has got all the truths in it, and the Apocrypha, the stuff that was took out of what's called the canonical Bible. So if you ask me, do I believe in Jesus? Well, I believe there was a man that they've labelled Jesus. He was never called Jesus, because Jesus was a title that means the anointed one, and Christ means from God. So he was the anointed one from God, but you're the anointed one from God, which is why I say that you and me are gods, not blasphemous. We are all children of God. We're all part of the oneness. We're all part of the universal intelligence. God is God, the grand organising designer. And in session 1 and 2, I talked about lots of etymology about weakened. You're weakened at weekend, same word. Society is set up to weaken you. You're told to be a good citizen, that you've got to do this and do that and not do this and do that, and the rules are becoming extreme now with the new legislation and the new Acts of Parliament, because people are just acting. There's people who are sovereign, who are acting. They're being coerced to say these things, do these things, and if you don't, you lose your job, or you don't get on in the world. Well, I'd be very happy not to get on in the world and to elate myself, to ascend spiritually and step into my power, and that's what I'm all about. So I mentioned a lot of etymology about the fact that you work really hard to pay your mortgage. Hidden occult knowledge, the word mortgage means mortgage, which actually translates to death grip in Latin. Death grip. But in most countries you have to pay for 3.5 houses to buy one. That your house might be £100,000, but if you look at what you've paid after 25 years, it's 300,000 plus, with all the interest. And it's to keep you in slavery, it's to keep you down, it's to keep you working and getting along, to go along and doing what you're told. And I also mentioned that most people work all their life and they retire, and the national statistic is that people die, on average, globally, 18 months after the day they retire. So you work all your life and then you get 18 months, and then you croak, you die, you pop your clogs. It's far more to life than that. So if you step back from it and view it as an illusion, and from your position as the observer, quantumly we know that as an observer, what you put your attention on, you can change. When you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change. I'll say that again. When you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change. You can actually ignite and excite energetically, fact, what you're looking at through the process of observation, using two powerful forces in the universe that you've never been taught at school, because school isn't to educate you, it's to indoctrinate you. And the two powerful forces are intention and attention. That with intention, in other words, purpose and mission, heart aligned and God aligned, you put your attention on something and you can shift it, you can excite it, you can transmit to it. And I mentioned that we have 5 physical senses: touch, taste, sight, sound and smell. But because most of us are in survival, in hell, we don't even enjoy what we're eating. So we have fast food, we have crap food, we watch crap programs on television, we have crap negative conversations, crap relationships, crap health. So we're not enjoying our physical experience, and we can and we should. That's what we're here to do. The world, the physical world, the dimension is a playground and a classroom, but nobody's learning, because these programs are coming at you from the government, etymology to govern your mentality, and they're governing your appreciation or your enjoyment of even this physical realm. But beyond that, you've got extra senses, ESP. Nobody's going to teach you that. In fact, they're going to tell you that it's bullshit. You are clairvoyant, you are clairaudient, you are clairsentient, you can have precognition, you can have prophecy, you can have deja vu, you can bilocate. There's so many things that you can do, and you are so powerful, but you're not taught it. So I'm going to stop there. Tune in with me, Mr. G, on Mr. Mike Garner YouTube channel and Mr. GTV YouTube channel and Facebook channels. Click like, subscribe and notifications so you miss nothing, because the magic is to come. And you can be far more than you've been told you are. And don't believe in the bullshit. All this stuff is shit and life is shit unless you're prepared to shift. and you can shift with me, Mike G, on Mr. GTV. Be powerful, make a cup of tea, and if you want, call me and we'll have a chat, because I'm here for that. Be powerful, enjoy your mind. Thank you for watching part 1 and part 2, and if you haven't, you can catch up, and part 3 is coming and it's going to be amazing. Take care.